Your online course is starting, and a lot of students have registered, but there are no mandatory lectures. So how do you know if the students have noticed the course is starting, or whether they are actually going to complete the course? And what about making teams? Hi everyone, my name is Wilhelm Lindholm, and this is In-House Remote Learning, a channel dedicated to presenting a way to design and implement an asynchronous communication learning environment. And today, we are looking at how I start activating and managing students even before the course really starts. Today's video will feature something I call the attendance survey that all students need to take at the start of the class. At first, I'll go through what the purpose of the attendance survey is. Next, I'll mention what kinds of things I ask the students at this stage. And finally, I'll show you how I process the responses and use them to form teams. Welcome along. So, let's begin with exploring what the purpose of the attendance survey is. Well, in a course where even showing up to the introductory lecture is optional, it can sometimes be hard to make sure that all the students who are registered intend to complete the course. By requiring registered students to confirm their participation through an attendance survey, it is possible to remove inactive students from the roster, and if needed, replace them with active ones from a possible waiting list before the course proper begins. Further, it sends an immediate message to the students that even though the course material is online and you can set your own pace to some degree, attention and active engagement with the course is expected from the get-go. Beyond the needs of course administration, the attendance survey provides a good opportunity to gather some valuable information from the students. Let's next look at what kinds of things can be gleaned in this kind of pre-course questionnaire. At the start of the course, I'm mainly interested in two things. The first relates to how and when the students are available for coursework. The second relates to whether they experience anxiety in exercises where they are expected to communicate in English. Starting with the timing issue, since one of the key aspects of an asynchronous course is the idea of flexible scheduling. Putting a bit of effort into finding out where and when students would like to work is worth it. I do this with two multiple choice questions, where students are asked to check each option that works for them. Those two questions cover the scheduling related issues. The other questions deal with the issue of finding students who might need special support or consideration due to anxiety. In addition to these two sets of multiple choice questions, I have two open questions students can answer. In the first, I ask if there are particular people students would like to group with, because I want to give students the opportunity to be in the same group as their friends. Finally, I have an open question where the student can report anything they feel might be relevant for me to consider when I create teams, such as particular work times, living out of town or abroad, or other special needs. Okay, so that wraps up the short survey structure I have. It's not meant to be an in-depth questionnaire, but a way to activate the students and give me something to guide my process when I create teams. Which means it's time to turn to how I make use of this information. If we start with the technical part of the process of making use of survey answers, a spreadsheet program like Excel is a staunch ally for the coordinator in an asynchronous course concept. I export the survey answers into a tab of a spreadsheet where I keep the general roster of the course. From here, I can sort students by different answers and arrange them into teams, which I then move directly into the roster. I might make another video of exactly how I do this later, but for now, I will just say that my priorities when making teams are as follows. First, I try to make sure people who wanted to be in the same group can be. Next, I look for students who report anxiety and check for their preferences. At this stage, it starts becoming important to check for answers that are exclusive when it comes to timing or space requests. As far as possible, I try to make sure these requests are accommodated, marking certain groups as, for example, O day, to indicate a group where students prefer working online in the daytime. I pay special attention to the groups that include anxious students. After team creation, I email each team to let them know what team they're in, and I also create groups for them on the course Moodle area. In the email, I mention whether there were some timing or space request conflicts, as it is important for the team to know right from the start if they need to negotiate a bit and be flexible in finding ways to work together. For groups composed of all or almost all anxious students, I let them know this is the case so that they can acknowledge the fact that they're not alone, but have peers with similar feelings. But that concludes the processing part of the attendance survey. Let's recap the main points that came up in this video. I use attendance surveys to make sure that students who are registered to the course are active and actually intend to complete it, removing inactive students who do not respond in time. The survey also allows me to gather helpful information that I can use in team creation. The two main areas I ask about are requests for work time and location, as well as whether students experience anxiety when performing in English. Finally, I use Excel to process and sort the survey answers, trying to accommodate the preferences and needs of the students so that groups can have a smooth start for the course. After this process, teams have been created and they are ready to start the course. A later video will explain how teams are then activated and personalized in something called Demo Zero. Other videos will detail the structure of the concept and other design decisions. Stay tuned for more. As always, if you would like to be notified when new videos are added to this series, you can subscribe to the channel.